Welcome to the World Football Summit podcast, the show for football industry leaders who want to stay ahead of the game. We bring you the latest insights, trends, and stories from the experts driving innovation and progress in sports business worldwide. Join us as we dive deep into the ideas and initiatives transforming the world of football. From sustainability and innovation to player development, fan engagement, and everything in between. Our goal is to unite the global football industry and drive positive change and progress. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the World Football Summit podcast. I'm your host, Jaime, CMO at World Football Summit. One of the best things about WFS events is listening to the leaders and organizations who are pushing the industry forward. At World Football Summit Asia, we had the awesome opportunity to listen how Serie A is approaching their international strategy. And we thought that this panel you would enjoy a lot. The panel included the participation of Alfonso de Stefano, Serie A MENA Managing Director, Michele, the Serie A's Marketing and Commercial Director, and Clarence Seedorf, football legend and Serie A ambassador. And you will listen to them speak about their three pillars to foster international growth: tech, culture, and fan engagement, the role of content and adapting the global approach to each local market, and how they're adapting to new trends and fan behaviors, and so much more. Before we go into that though, don't forget to subscribe and read the podcast on your platform of choice and share it with your industry colleagues. You can also subscribe to our newsletter, where every week we send updates, trends, and everything that goes on at our events. You can find the link in the show notes. Next year, the thing is, it's going to be a busy one for World Football Summit, as we have events in London, Mexico, Sevilla. You can check it all out on our website. Nothing else from my side. I hope you enjoy this amazing panel from World Football Summit Asia about the Serie A and their international strategy.
Gentlemen, transforming Serie A. Serie A, of course, has been one of the biggest leagues in the world over many decades, from some of the players to the best teams. But the league is transforming, growing around the world with an international, ambitious strategy to really grow their teams, their players, and really introduce what they are doing to the rest of the world. We'll have insights from those in their Italian headquarters. We'll have insight from their office here in the Middle East, and also a very special Serie A legend will join us on stage. But before we do that, let's just have a quick look at how the league is innovating around the world. So as you can see, plenty of work being done, of course, by Serie A. Delighted to welcome onto the stage Michele, Ciccarese, the Marketing and Commercial Director of Serie A, Alfonso Di Stefano, the Managing Director of Serie A in the Middle East, and of course, a two-time Serie A winner, Clarence Seedorf. For a round of applause, please.
Bonjour. Not only to Serie A title, I think that Clarence has won something else.
He's won plenty of trophies, and we'll come to that as well. Michele, let's start with you.
Yeah.
Why this ambitious strategy?
So, first of all, salam alaikum, buonasera. It's a pleasure to be here, and great to share the stage with you guys, and especially with Clarence. It's, humbly and sincerely speaking, it's been a journey. It's try to create a strategy where we've put together 20 years of work in the last 2-3 years. What has been happening in Serie A is that finally, 3 years ago, we started a new strategy. The club voted on a new big investment in order to really leverage on the values of the club itself. And especially in a region like this, where we are today, where the love and the bond for our clubs is strong. And we have seen this today with all our IP, like AC Milan, Juventus, Inter, Roma, Napoli. This is what the goal that we have, and we should leverage on it. But the only way to do that is not to focus anymore on the domestic market. The real mistake that we did was to only think about Italy and not looking abroad. If you look at the recent number from YouGov, we have 830 million fans in all over the world, and only 33 million are inside Italy. So what we have to do, and the path that we are taking, is, first of all, creating content and investing on our properties. The video that you've seen today has been the first step, because Lissone, the International Broadcast Center, is the enabler of all our strategy. Because through Lissone, we distribute the content from all the stadiums in 17 cities in Italy to 67 broadcasters in 203 countries in all over the world. And that is the only way to cut every potential agency in the chain and be us, the owner of the content, and then distribute it in all over the world. And the step 2 is all about the access. So if we have access to players, access to content, it's where we can talk with the audience. And this is exactly what we are taking, and it started with the ABC, and then, of course, opening offices abroad. We have an office based in Middle East, in Abu Dhabi. We will soon be in Saudi Arabia as well, and we open an office in New York, and we are opening in Singapore to talk with the Far East. Because the only way to engage really the local audience, and Alfonso can talk about this much better than me locally, is to really create a relationship with the broadcaster every day and not selling the rights and then escape and be eaten for 3 years until the renewal. The only way is to really engage audience and create projects.
Oh, that's fantastic and innovative as well. So, Alfonso, I guess the question to you is, how do you translate that into the work you're doing here in the Middle East?
I think there is a video going or not?
No, it's just there.
Okay, good evening, everybody. The spirit to open, as Michele was mentioning before, the international offices, is basically to be much closer to the audience, to also the youngsters, footballers. So what we have done recently with the office in Middle East, which is based in Abu Dhabi, but is overseeing the entire market, which for us is absolutely the main objective, being aware of what is happening in this region. It's a complete transformation, not only in sport and football, but generally speaking, cultural. So what we have done in the last couple of months is first of all, to activate through a proper digital strategy based on the social media, which are very popular in the region, naming Snapchat and recently TikTok, to engage the general audience, but in particular the new generation, the so-called Gen Z. I don't want to go into the obvious, but this is absolutely the focus. So through absolutely detailed digital strategy with content creators from the region and with a team which is absolutely focused on what is happening around the region, we are trying, because it's a long run, I just want to underline that, I mean, it's not opening the office here and, okay, you generate the massive brand awareness of Serie A and stimulating the growth of a league. So it's a complex process which needs time, which needs resources, but we absolutely are on the right track to engage the audience here in the region by knowing that is from all over the world is one of the youngest population. Generally, it is digital native. So we are trying to work beyond the live rights. And as you can see now, I mean, in the background, we are showing several initiatives that we threw during the last 9 months since the opening of the office. And as you can see, okay, football, but also we try to intercept the new generation also through other form of cross-marketing through other verticals. We partner with the NBA, with Alex Del Piero. We partner with F1 through Fabio Cannavaro. We recently launched with our exclusive distributor in Middle East a talent show which will stimulate also participation in football, because I mean it's not only, okay, we live in a digital era, but I mean we have to be fully aware that I mean football is a sport, so we need to practice sport, we need to stimulate the youngest generation to take part to this beautiful game, And through our distributor in Middle East, we launch this special project which is called Italian Dream. It will be disclosed, officially to the audience in Middle East for the kickoff of next season. We are currently producing this talent show, which will be showed around the Middle East in 4 countries. And it is targeting to find new talents in the region, which will have the chance in a near future to participate also in Serie A. So this is in a nutshell what we just initiate to do in this region. And thanks to also the several bodies that, several sport bodies we are cooperating with, we hope to let the Serie A growing in parallel with also the sport participation and football in general in the region.
So what we've learned is everyone's very busy at Serie A at the moment. Clarence, let me bring you in. You had an amazing career in Serie A, 2 titles with Milan, 2 Champions Leagues with Milan as well, and multiple Champions Leagues all over. But on the pitch, there was a brilliant Napoli story last season. 3 Champions League semi-finalists, 3 finalists across the UEFA club competition. So what is that saying about Serie A at the moment and the stories it's generating on the pitch?
Well, good afternoon, everybody. I hope you hear me well. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think from a football point of view, over the last years, Serie A became competitive again. I remember when I came in the 90s, there were like the top 10 teams were super competitive. There would maybe be 12, 14 teams with top strikers who would play in the national team, top defenders that would play in the national team from all those teams. The characteristics of Italian football has marked my career very much, and I think many people in the world still today. And what we have seen that is coming back. The competitiveness of the league, that people don't like to play against Italian teams internationally. Those things you start hearing again because it's always so tough. So I think that is coming in the right direction again. And Napoli has been a breathtaking experience from last year for sure.
Absolutely. Michele, I have to ask you, how important is the on-field product to support what you're doing off the pitch as well? You need both of them to work together, don't you?
Absolutely. We need stories. So what Clarence was just saying right now is last year, having the 2 Milanese club in the semi-finals together, having Fiorentina in the final of the Conference League, having Roma with Jose Mourinho in the 2nd year in a row in the final of the Europa League, created different stories. But of course, the biggest stories that we had is being Napoli winning the Scudetto after 33 years in the Maradona time. I think that if we can launch this video with the volume on, you will see exactly what does it mean to create a Made in Italy strategy. Because if we have something that is unique inside Serie A, is that each club has a story to tell which is beyond each city. Yeah, so basically, in an era where we are not competing with the Premier League, with La Liga, it's an era where we are competing with every kind of entertainment platform. And the only way to catch the attention and the span attention of people, because today, I'm sure we have kind of 320 advertising messages every single day, but we never pay attention to nothing if that doesn't catch your emotions. Football has something unique in terms of catching emotions, and we have seen the queue at the Serie A booth when Clarence was there. If we play in this way and we talk about the country and Italy, there are a lot of stories beyond, not only AC Milan, Juve and Inter, but also Salernitana, Sassuolo, Bologna, all the clubs, because everyone loves our country, and that's what we need to deliver to everyone. And the only way to do that is to take the best players and bring them outside of the training center, let them see the city, and let them create content in the city itself, talking about food, fashion, culture, everything that is at the core of Italy, which is interesting for real, for everyone, for the young generation, as Alfonso was saying, and not only for the Generation Z, but even for the Generation Alpha, is what they want to see. They want to see and engage with the audience, and the audience comes through the biggest player, because what they see today are the talents. And if we have Dybala for Roma, Vlahovic for Juve, Lautaro for Inter, Leao for AC Milan, is what the kids are looking for as a model. And that's what we need to give access to our broadcaster. And this content you will see in this region through Abu Dhabi Media and Starts Play, in US through CBS Sports. And there will be broadcasted 60 different contents, 3 per club.
Alfonso, I've got to ask you then, and we just touched on it there. How do you tell that Made in Italy story to the audience here in the Middle East?
Yes, again, the sport IPs nowadays are what I consider, but I mean, generally are defined entertainment brand. So as we are keeping on saying, football is absolutely global, but you need to decline also on a local perspective. So everybody knows Milano. I mean, again, not to repeat what Michele was saying, but Lega Serie A represent 20 clubs, represent an entire nation, because as partners we have the Italian government. Italy is very well known for tourism, but again, we want to decline it in a contemporary way, because the past is the past, amazing. We look back and we take all this gold, but I mean, again, I mean, we want to look forward and we want to speak to all the generation. And to do that, you need to be contemporary, but you need to stay much closer to your audience. And this is what the Made in Italy is trying to achieve through different initiatives which are in place in the different part of the world where we are present with our offices.
Clarence, you've played on the pitch. Just how passionate is the Italian football support? When you played for Milan, just how passionate are the fans? What sort of feeling do you get with the passion and love the Italian fan show?
I don't think you can talk about passion. I mean, football has the power to stop wars. We've seen it in the past. It has the power to unite people. It has the power to, really excite. The most calm, the most educated people become, child again. What is important to say is that the passion that is around the world, and I live in the region now years, it's incredible. And football is just like grass. It just continues to grow and it never ends. So football player, which I'm not anymore, and I'm not on the other side a little bit more. What I like see the joy of the players, and that they understand that we're not playing for ourselves. Anything that I have gotten in my career is because of the fans. So, and now this generation understands it even better than before, because we didn't have all the social media going on to create our own platform. So they're very much aware that they are a brand, but that because to be a brand, they also need to perform, they need to entertain. And I think that has increased very, very big time the passion of the people for the sports. Now, if I may enter in a point, what was said before, is that Italy has something that very few countries have, and that is the history. That is that incredible history of talent that was there, of cups won and everything. So I'm sure that the geniuses behind all of this strategy will be able to combine that with the actuality, and that is something very special, I believe.
Michele, just to add to that, Italy is diverse in so many ways. The football is amazing, the food, the culture, the entertainment. I guess, is that the aim of this Made in Italy strategy, to package all of that together and help tell the story of Italy through football?
That is the end goal, to tell the story. That is the end goal, to catch the attention. But what is more important is not only to talk about ourselves, about food, about fashion, is to make that accessible to everyone and to share this kind of experience. Because when you speak about a football club and then you tell about the story about the country, everyone will get interested. And tomorrow we'll probably fly to Roma or to Florence or to Milano to discover and have this experience. And what we should do is to show them how and what's the best player's way to experience that. But at the same time, we should be as well as humble to come to the different countries, to show ourselves, to open ourselves, and to create content through access. That's the job that Alfonso is doing in Middle East, as well as Andy Mitchell in New York. What we have to do is to be there, because we have been sleeping on our greatness, and then suddenly we woke up saying, oh, what happened?
Yeah.
Now we should run faster than in the past. But fortunately, there is one thing that Clarence was saying, which will always stay there: history, heritage, and love for the talent that have been growing and creating the Serie A. And if Serie A, we have few clubs here, I can see Bologna right there, Juventus was outside, is the only way is collectively. Not to let a club grow by himself, because they will always reach a point of saturation. And if the league doesn't grow collectively, with all together, even the biggest club cannot grow anymore.
So you've got the buy-in from all your clubs as part of this
it's
strategy.
not from me to say. It's better
Right.
when a club says that.
Yeah,
But what is
absolutely.
happening for real is that the club are putting individual rights. Otherwise, you would never see in a content Leao, Vlahovic, Lautaro, and Dybala if there is no buy-in from the club.
And Alfonso, I've got to ask you then, you've got the task of waking up those fans in the Middle East or finding some new fans. So how are you going to do it?
Yeah, first of all, please join us next January for the Italian Super Cup here in Riyadh. So it will be a great occasion to show. Again, thanks for the assist. I really think that there isn't the perfect answer, because it's a combination that must have touch. I strictly believe in grassroots. Having played football, not at the level of Clarence, but sportsmanship and sport participation is very important, absolutely, because again, we're talking about football, which is a sport. And then you need to create new initiatives that are relying on solid pillars, and they're combining with new technology, which now are essential to, in a fast-growing world of communication, the right audience, stimulate it, and make them fidelity, make the fidelity
Loyalty.
for Serie A as any other sport league. But again, to create the excellence of Serie A in this region in a long run, because it takes time, but with the combination of the clubs, the stakeholders, and with the strategy which is focused to the real consumer of what culture is, which is the youngest footballers.
Michele, I want to also touch on the technology aspect that
Yep.
Alfonso mentioned. You've almost revamped the television side of things. There's an IBC. It's innovative, multi-language commentary coming from there. Why have you done it, firstly? And secondly, how important is it in terms of showcasing your product to all of these fans around the world?
No, thank you, Mazur, because that's the question. So you would have been with me 3 years ago when we asked to the clubs to invest. So, what happened? They're not here to bring us revenues? No. In order to bring new revenues, first of all, you need to invest on the technology in order to deliver a better product. So 3 years ago, Serie A was broadcasted through 12 to 15 cameras per game. Now the camera goes from 22 to 30 cameras per game, with flycam, with drones, and especially the data tracking of each game is state of the art. What we have is an OK technology that tracks every single player on the pitch, that delivers data, but not only football data, even metadata and prediction data about how many passes a player might take, or how many goals Clarence could have done during the game. or that goal in the derby, actually. Yeah, but jokes apart, the clear point is technology, enhanced technology, and data through the broadcast center allows us as an enabler to take in fiber the signal from each stadium, distribute it to the broadcaster in near live, and cut 20 different possibility of highlights in 5 different languages that goes immediately to all the social media spreaded in 9 languages. Believe it or not, 3 years ago, Serie A was speaking only in Italian. Now it speaks in 9 languages, in 22 different accounts in all over the world. Again, is a path, but we need to roll up our sleeves and make it happen. Only through the 3 pillars, we touch them all, are made in Italy, fan, passion, and technology. If we really work together on these 3 layers, along with the support of the 20 clubs, yes, we can show and mirror these values in revenues and then on the pitch.
And has it almost been a realization that younger fans and fans of different ages are all consuming this content in different ways?
That's one point. Everyone is saying that the kids are no more seeing the football games of the 90 minutes or 94 minutes.
It's not true. I mean,
No, the most
is the different way of consuming
on TikTok is football.
Football, exactly.
So it's only a way
to
of consumption from the audience.
And I've got to come to the TikTok channel here in the Middle East, launched and grew 0 to 100,000 in a matter of hours. How important is it to actually, localize and regionalize that content so fans can enjoy it in whichever language, in whichever way? Because here we are sat in Saudi Arabia. I think we all know that fans in different parts of the world will digest content in different ways.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't want to greet ourselves, but Serie A has been the first European league to open the TikTok account in Arabic. And we are having a great, absolutely great award from this partnership. And to have a tone of voice in declining our message to the local audience. So we really believe also on the other side of the non-live contents in generating and creating story. Also the other way around, because we are allowing also content creators and football fans to be hosted in Italy and to experience not only the live football in the stadium, but also what is the surrounding flavor of the Italian passion for football. As Michele said, it is pretty easy to fly to Italy to watch FC Internazionale Milano, Milan, the derby. But who knows about Salernitana Lecce are 2 absolutely fantastic touristic destinations. So we, again, want to combine passion for football with Italian flavor, contemporary, to have the Italian experience through sport and through the passion for football, especially from this region, because let's not forget the Italian league has been the first league to be broadcasted in this region historically.
And actually, I want to stay on that in some ways because Serie A has been coming to Saudi Arabia. It was one of the first leagues to come here. How important is, and we're here in Saudi Arabia, so it's important, I think, to touch on it. How important is Saudi Arabia to the future and what you're trying to do to grow Serie A in this region?
We have, by data, we have the biggest fan base in the Middle East is placed in this country, especially through the 3 biggest clubs historically, Juve, Milan, Inter. Roma has a huge fan base, and we are stimulating the attention of this audience through new initiatives, especially through partnership that we are putting in place with the local stakeholders through sport participation and events, sport events. One of them, again, is the Italian Super Cup to be hosted next year. New format, 4 teams, Napoli, Inter, Fiorentina, Lazio. We are absolutely honored to be part also of this amazing, not only sport, but is a cultural change in this country that through football, I mean, will pave the way till the next World Cup, and through a series of amazing sport and football initiatives to be hosted by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Fantastic. And Clarence, to come to you, the Italian Super Cup is here early next year. How much does what Serie A is doing at the moment of their international strategy excite you for the future?
I was a big believer in anything that I've heard today and I've seen over the last period happening, the new strategy. I was fortunate to have an amazing president who was a visionary person, and he was talking about a lot of things that is happening today. There was always this fight between the clubs, and they were always trying to make themselves bigger, but it was about that unity that would make the difference, and I think that is what is happening right now. So I'm very excited to see this. Actually, I believe that Serie A will push the clubs in the right direction. I think that professionals next to me here are really going to elevate the professionalism and the management that is needed for the Italian clubs, and not only the clubs, the municipalities and everybody. The whole system needs to understand that if Italy wants to continue to compete, it has to go in this direction. So I'm very excited for that.
Michele, that shows that there's good work being done, but you've got a lot of work to do. How are you going to do it?
First of all, hearing these words from Clarence gives me only the motivation to go ahead. And the other point is the municipality. So Italy has won, along with Turkey, the Euro Cup in 32. This finally will allow us to build a new stadium, because you can put the most advanced cameras and the most advanced data in every stadium in Italy, but if you don't have facilities that can really welcome people and those families and kids in a proper way, you will never get there. So, and that's a process that Saudi is going through right now, especially in the ambition to the 34. And that's the real goal that we should have, is to see at least 5 to 6 new stadiums by 2030 in Italy happening. And again, the municipality and the great culture and the great layers that we've been speaking to till now actually have been the barriers till today. Because if you want to build something in Roma, guys, you should need kind of 123 approvals, because otherwise you will find something of the Asian Rome under the soil. So having the Euro Cup, and again football will help, is the only way you can have a commissioner in Roma that will skip and overcome the local municipality to saying, yes, we can invest and make it happen. Going on the investment side, just to give to the audience a clear overview, we have right now in Serie A 9 different foreign ownership. Foreign ownership have even the money to invest, and they want to create the stadiums. We have Redbird with AC Milan, we have Rocco Commisso with Fiorentina, Saputo family in Bologna, and Friedkin family in Roma. All these investors have seen the potential that is behind Serie A. Otherwise, they would have never invested millions and billions, if you sum the clubs together, in our football. So in the private equity operation that we have seen coming in La Liga, that we have seen coming in Bundesliga, the first league that has been approached by CVC for investment has been Serie A 3 years ago in full COVID time, because we know the potential is there. Now the things are finally happening, and step by step the sports results are happening as well, and we've seen this last season. The real achievement that I would love to come back here maybe in next year and say
they have us back.
That the stadiums really are happening.
Yeah. We need to wrap up very shortly. So, Alfonso, a question to you, and we can go through quickly. What's the last message you'd like to leave with everyone here about the work Serie A is doing?
I would say stay tuned. I don't want to be very obvious. Stay tuned. We have a lot of amazing projects for the region and in general for the international audience through what we have been through this afternoon. And I would like to express gratitude to the organizers and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in general to be part of this forum, which will, again, I think will take I mean, a permanent place in this region. Correct.
And Michele, for you, what's the final words?
The final words are, again, roll up our sleeve, work, that's the only way. And you said one thing before, we were the first league to come in Saudi and playing. It was 2019, it was in this very city, Juventus AC Milan, in the stadium. What I would love to see is a stronger and bold collaboration between the countries, because we are going to host together different games, not only as a showcase, but as a real project to change the game. And this will go through the academies, through the coach, and to how to support and develop the grassroots. So yeah, stay tuned is a good line to close the panel, and shukran. It's been a great pleasure to be here. It's only live things with Italian. It's.
I mean, also through one of the projects that we are running, I would dream to see a kid from the region to be a great talent in the future in Serie A. This is the spirit. So, I mean, we are launching this project. We really believe in it. And it's a dream, Italian dream. So, I mean, let's the kids dream. This football.
And I'd like to close with the legend on stage. Are you excited by what you've heard?
You asked me again.
Yeah. Well, they've said a bit more. There's a little bit more now. And on the pitch as well. And sorry, I should have added. Are you excited by what you're seeing on the pitch in Italy and the strides and improvements that has been in the game in recent times?
Yeah, well, I try to look at things from a global point of view, and what I'm seeing is that the sport is growing, football is growing, the enthusiasm is continuously there, and of course Italy. I'm more Italian than anything else. I've been almost 20 years living in Italy besides my career, so. Anything that happens in Italy, I always try to follow it closely, and I'm very happy. It's not excitement. I'm happy to see the direction taken, and I'm sure this will bring all the benefits for the Serie A.
Made in Italy, as they say.
Yes.
Sure. Thanks to everyone. Good luck to the Italian teams, of course, in the UEFA club competitions this week. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your time this afternoon. A round of applause for everyone.
Thank you. Grazie.
Thank you, mate.
And there you have it. Serie A, going into full detail about their international strategy. The main takeaways for me were, remember, there are three pillars. It's made in Italy, technology, and fan engagement. Then content is the first step to generate engagement, and it enables the rest of the strategy. The content, though, needs to be relevant, and for that to happen, local actors are of great help. It is the different stories that emerge during a season that fuel the content. And for that, competitiveness of the league is key. It generates stories, and it taps into emotions that no other forms of entertainment can tap into. This ties well with the second step, which is access to players. In this era, the role of the player is key, as they are a powerful brand themselves, and in some cases, one would argue, more than a club. Fans today connect better with players than with teams. In that sense, it is interesting how they are using these players to promote Italy as a country and its culture. And the legacy of the competition is also critical. Serie A has a rich tradition of welcoming legends and some of the best teams in history. And the third step is opening offices abroad. You have to be where the fan is. In that sense, tapping into new audiences through other sports like the NBA, Formula One, it's a must. Keep in mind that investment in broadcasting technology improves the viewership experience. It creates more highlights, more content around the world, and it is another key level to reach the international fan. And finally, Just remember what Clarence said. Football is a common language. The passion never ceases to grow. And this is critical for any property to reach new fans, markets, and levels of growth. Did anything else stand out to you? If so, let us know on social media. And don't forget to subscribe and rate the podcast on your platform of choice and share it with your industry colleagues. Nothing else from my side. I want to thank you for tuning into this episode of the World Football Summit podcast. I hope you have an awesome 2024. I hope you enjoyed this episode and you learned something new. Have a great rest of your day, and we hope to see you next time.